What I'm going to talk to you about today, I know for a fact it's going to change your life because not so long ago, in 48 hours, I built a client acquisition method from scratch. Literally, I have to show you the proof because I booked 5 calls through IG. It is my Calendly, as you can see. IG called the DMs, which is the most saturated place ever you can be. I booked 5 calls. One was with Jesse, one was email, one was Jason, one was Eric, one was with Ishmael. And I booked 5 calls from cold outreach on IG, which is the most saturated and the hardest place right now to get clients from. And I did it. I built it from scratch in 48 hours and it worked. So, with that said, how did I do this? That's a question. How did I build something that's getting me continuously book calls to this day? Like still, I'm right now getting book calls. This happened at Monday, but I'm right now getting interested people. We are getting on book call. We are getting on calls, and we are closing clients. So how did I exactly do this, and what you're going to learn in this exact video? Because look, guys, if you're doing outreach, or if you're doing content creation, if you're doing whatever you're doing, what's important is you need to have a system that reliably is going to create the output which you want. So if you want to get a booked call on your calendar, you need to have a system that you can repeatedly do, like step by step follow through, which is going to get you the booked call on your calendar. And this is what I'm really for. I really love building system that just reliably gets the result I want. Because look, think in this way. If you have a good system, you can press, it's like pressing a button and it has some kind of a percentage to give you what you want. So if you build a good client acquisition system, it means that you have a button that gets, if you press it 100% times, 5% of the times you're getting a booked call on your calendar. Like, how many times would you press that button? Like, as many as you could. So that's why if you have a good system which reliably gets you the result which you want, is going to be the make or break in your business or your online entrepreneurship. So today what I'm going to talk about is exactly how did I create this system from scratch. Like, how did I came up with this system and how did I build it? Now, of course, I'm not going to show you the entire system, because if I show you the system, what's going to happen is you're going to guys start using it. And if you guys start using it, what's going to happen is it's not going to work anymore. Of course, if you're really needed in a cold outreach system, you can book a call with me, you can DM me on IG, and I may hint you exactly how mine works. But today I want to teach you exactly how to build one for yourself. Because if you're just following someone else's script, if you're following someone else's opener, if you're following someone else's system, if something breaks, so for example, right now, let's say everyone's saying to send XYZ opener message. If it doesn't work, you don't exactly know what to do and how to improve it. So what you need to do is understand exactly how system works. So whatever you do, you're going to get book calls on your calendar. Now, with that said, I want to go to my Miro board so I can explain exactly how this is going to happen, and you're going to be able to learn it. And yeah, you can use it forever in your life, because if you know how to build good systems, you're never ever going to suffer in your life with any problems, like, to be honest with you. So with that said, I hope you can see my dashboard, my Miro board right here. So let's talk about systems. Now, why do I want to talk about systems? Because if you don't understand systems, what's going to happen is you're never ever going to be able to understand how I build this for myself and how you can build the same for yourself. So system basically means that you have a process you can follow through step by step, which is going to give you a desired output. So there is an input, meaning most likely it's going to be your time and energy, and you're going to get an output from this system through specific steps. So let's say step number 1, step number 2, and step number 3, if I can create that. Okay, so if you follow through these steps, like input, steps, step, you're going to get this output. Now, what is really important on systems is there is a feedback loop in this system. So what happens is you do the inputs, you're going to get some kind of an output, and that's going to lead back to a feedback loop. And we are going to talk about why this is really crucial, because, man, I tell you, this is number one. This is the most important one. And the next thing is going to be about the environment. So every single system you build is an environment. And this is going to make sense in a second. And how I like to explain systems is with explaining the basketball court. I don't know if you are playing basketball. I sure like to play sometimes because I'm 6'3" and I like to have an advantage at what I'm doing. So basketball court. So let me explain systems in this way. So you come to the basketball court. This is the basketball court. I'm going to draw it down. And this is the circle. This is the court. And right here we have the thing. If you come here to play basketball and you're sitting or you're standing right here and you want to throw the ball into the basket, this is what you want to do. In a similar way, what did I do? You have this input and you want to get an output. Like you are here in a basketball court and you want to get an output, which is basically throwing the ball into the basket. Now, let's say you want to do this. What are you going to do? You're going to throw the ball, and if it lands into the basketball, in the basket, you're like happy. If it doesn't land, okay, I need to try again. And this is a system. But the truth is, let's say you want to be the best of the best basketball player ever. Like you wouldn't be happy if for some reason it lands, like it doesn't go into the basket, ball in the basket. So what you have right there is a feedback loop. You're throwing the ball. You're standing right here, you throw the ball, and if it lands, there is a positive feedback loop, and if it doesn't land, there's a negative feedback loop. Now, based on how you're using this feedback loop, it depends on how you're going to get results from the system. So let me say a quick example here. You want to get a client from IG Outreach. You have a very perfect lead. That's your input. You have a perfect lead. You send some kind of opener message, and they don't respond. That means you have right there a negative feedback loop. You know that, okay, I need to improve my opener message in order to get a better result. Now, this is just basically the basketball court. But with that said, why is this really important? Because let's say you want to be really good at throwing basketball courts. You want to make sure that when you're throwing a basketball court, it actually lands in the basket. What you need to do is create for yourself a system that you can basically recreate every single time to make sure the basketball lands in the basket. So what I mean by that is creating the steps in order for you to create the output. And what I mean by that is analyzing these three things that you're doing every single time. Because if you want to make sure that your basketball lands into the basket, you need to have the right direction, the right power, with the right angle. So you want to be the best basketball player. You want to make sure every single time you throw your basketball lands into the basket. So what you're going to do is, if you have the right direction right here, if you have the right power, meaning it actually goes to the basket, and if you have the right angle, meaning that you're throwing your basketball not like this, but like this, it's going to land. And if all these three things are met all the time, your basketball is going to land into the basket. So right now, you have a system. You need to have the right direction, the right power, and the right angle. So whenever you're throwing the ball, however hand movements you're using to throw the ball, you can analyze what went wrong. So if you're right here, you want to throw this 3-pointer here, and it goes this way. Okay, I messed up the direction. Next time I'm going to focus on improving the direction. Now I'm throwing the ball. It was an air ball. This is where it landed. Okay, I have a power problem. It didn't have enough power. Now you're throwing your next ball and it goes perfectly into the hoop, but what happens is it hits this part of the ring and it comes out. You're like, okay, the angle wasn't right, because man, if I would have thrown it like this, or if it would have just slightly touched like this, it would have went inside. So you understand that this is an angle problem. But now you have a system that you can continuously have the feedback looped back into it and improve your throws. Now, why this is important is because let's talk about building an IG outreach system for you. What needs to happen is that you have to understand what is the input that you do, what is the steps, what you're doing, and what kind of output you're getting. And based on the output you're getting, you need to utilize the feedback loop into the input. So let's talk about, for example, now you should understand how systems work and why it's crucial for you. Because if you want to make sure your basketballs all the time land in the basket, then this is what you need to do. You need to have these systems or these regulatory steps you need to take all the time, so make sure your basketball actually lands in the basket. So if we are talking about IG outreach right now, how could you build for yourself an outreach system that would all the time land you a client? So right here, your input is going to be a good lead, because a good lead is going to be a person who would you message. And then how do you turn that good lead into an actual client? Like, this is the question. So let's just think in systems. Let's imagine for ourselves a second, what kind of steps do I need to take until I can get a lead into a client? Well, if we are talking about IG, well, I have to send them an opener message. That's the first thing. Cool. Then I have to then somehow make them to book a call. So somehow you need to convert them. And then you have to, close them on a sales call. And like, bang, right now you have a system which you can from now on repeat to get the output. If you create for yourself an opener message and somehow create a system or create something that's going to book them, like go on a call with you, and then you can have a system, which is what questions you ask on a sales call, what you say on a sales call, but you're going to get a client. If you follow through this system from now on, you're going to get continuously clients. But now the question becomes how to optimize these steps in your system in order for you to actually get the most calls possible. That's the real question here. So that's when we have to talk about feedback loops. Because right now, potentially you can have an opener. You have an opener. But if the opener is not as good as the KPIs on IG, then you know that your opener is a problem. So let me explain. Let's say there is a day where you send 100 outreaches and you get 2 people responding. This is 2 replies. That doesn't mean they became your client, but 2 people have responded. Then you now understand that this is not good. Like, I want to get at least 5 replies because that's KPIs on IG. And now you're like, okay, man, I need to improve my opener message if I want to get clients, if I want to get more clients. So you understand that you have to work on your opener message. The next thing is, let's say you send 100 outreaches and you get 7 replies. Bang, perfect. You're like, okay, I got 7 replies. That's good. But you get 0 booked calls from this. You're like, bro, I understand. Now I need to create some kind of a system which is consistently going to get these replies into booked calls. And you're like, okay, let's improve on this. And now you have, let's say, sent 100 reply, you get 8 replies, or sent 100 DMs, you get 8 replies, you get 3 booked calls, which would be perfect, of course, sending 100 DMs and getting 3 booked calls. And now you're like, okay, how many clients did I get? Well, 0. Then I have a sales call problem. But as you can see right here, I've broken down exactly what inputs I'm doing and what steps I'm following through these inputs and what kind of results I'm getting. And based on the results I'm getting, I use the feedback loop to improve on this. And basically what I've done is this. I understood, like, let's talk about my outreach message. And as you can see, I'm going to show you the entire, entire metrics on this. I sent 388 DMs, and I got 53 people responding. And from this month, I got 3 DMs, and this doesn't add up. But I have 13% booked call or engagement rates. So what does that mean is that right now, if I send 100 messages, 13 people will reply. And what does that mean for you? Well, I have some kind of an opener message that works so well that 13 people reply. And like why this is important is because I didn't just create this system through, being like, okay, I'm gonna get clients and I'm just going to start bombarding a bunch of volumed outreaches. No, this is not what I have done. I sent 100 outreaches. I was like, how many replies I got? How can I improve on my opener? Okay, cool. I have good reply rates because right now I get good reply rates. I'm like, okay, how can I now improve on my booked call rates? This is what I'm doing right now. But I have an opener that right now, if I send 100 outreaches, I get anywhere from 8 to 7 to 13 people responding of, I'm interested. Think in this way, bro. Like, if these many people respond to you like, I'm interested, how is that you cannot get a client? Like, you can get a client. So what you need to do is find out every single time in the system which you're building, like from the output, what you're doing is where is the problem currently, and then build that specific thing that needs to be better. So if I have the good openers, and right here as you can see, I don't know why it's not 5 calls, because I had 5 calls. But I'm not going to talk about that. Something I haven't written down. How did I not have 5 calls here? But the truth is that I had 5 calls. I've shown you that. But I don't know how I messed up the numbers here. But as you can see right here, what I wanted to talk to you about is right now I have a good opener. Is that right now I have to focus on how do I get these people to book calls. For example, I sent yesterday 60 and I get 5 people responding. How can I now get these people to book a call with me? That's the next part which I'm improving. How can I build a system that's going to book a call with me? Like, if I have someone who replied, how can I get them on a call with me as fast and as easy as possible? So that's going to be that. And step number 3 is closing them. So that's going to be a sales call problem. How many, calls you get, how many actual closes you got. Now, why I'm talked so much about this is because if you want to succeed right now in the online space, you need to figure out for yourself, like truly speaking, because you can buy the best outreach technique from every single person on the planet Earth, but you're not going to succeed with it because everyone is using the same trash. And so what happens is because everyone is using the same trash, no one is going to get a response from that. So that's why you need to create a system for yourself. And that's why I have a system that works like this. And basically, people respond to me saying that, yo, Rob, I responded for you because you're not like everyone else. I'm like, man, I won because I've created a system for myself. And I'm not, copying others. I'm not trying to be like others. I created this system for myself and it works perfectly. So I hope you got some value about this, how to build for yourself a system. If you have any questions, you can DM them into my IG, or you can book a call with me to know more, or how can we build for you right now an outreach system. And so with that said, thank you so much for watching. I will see you the next time.